Ladies, let me talk to you for a second. You don't become powerful by accident. You don't become calm, confident, and respected overnight. You build it every single day. And if you're sitting there wondering why things aren't changing, why you still feel off, stuck, disrespected, it's probably because you're not doing the right daily things. Let's fix that. There are 10 habits, 10 small, powerful moves that every woman needs to master, not just once, every day. These are the habits that shift your energy, your confidence, your peace, and your direction. Let's get into it. Start your day with intention, not your phone. That may sound small, but it's one of the most powerful shifts a woman can make in her daily life. The first 5 minutes when you open your eyes are sacred. That space between sleep and movement is when your mind is still soft, open, unformed by the outside world. And what you give your attention to in that window determines how you respond to the rest of your day. The second your hand reaches for that screen, for that scroll, for those notifications, you hand over the driver's seat to something outside of you. That means someone else gets to choose your mood, your focus, your worth. And a woman who gives that power away too early in the day will spend the rest of it chasing her own voice. Instead of grabbing your phone, grab a breath, stay still, check in with you, feel the sheets under your skin, feel your heartbeat. Ask yourself what you need before the world tells you what it wants. That moment is yours. That peace, that pause is where clarity is born. You don't need to run from your bed to your to-do list. You don't need to wake up and immediately put yourself last. That first minute when your feet hit the floor should not be rushed. It should be claimed. Because how you begin tells your body, your brain, and your spirit what kind of energy to operate from. And if you start in chaos, you'll attract chaos. If you start with intention, you'll carry intention. A woman who starts her morning with herself is a woman who isn't easily knocked off course. She's grounded. She's aligned. She's already made peace with who she is before anyone tries to define her. And here's the truth. Most of the things we reach for in the morning are not needs, they're habits. That endless scroll isn't serving you. That urgent message can wait. That post, that headline, that number on the scale, all of that can wait. What can't wait is the version of you that's trying to speak in the silence, and you silence her every time you plug into something that doesn't feed you. When you wake up, you should be the first person to acknowledge your worth. Not with a chore list, not with guilt, not with shame, with awareness, with breath, with gratitude, with stillness. And from that place, you decide how your day is going to move. That doesn't mean everything goes your way, but it means that when something tries to throw you off, you know where your center is. You've already been there, you've already checked in, and you know how to return. Because the woman who centers herself in the morning doesn't panic when things fall apart. She leads through them. Every woman needs a moment that belongs to her and no one else. A quiet reminder that she is not just her tasks or her roles or her expectations. She is a person with a pulse and a purpose. That moment doesn't need to be long. It doesn't need to be complicated, but it does need to be consistent. And the more often you do it, the more sacred it becomes, the more powerful it feels. Eventually, you'll crave that stillness like you crave water, because it restores you in ways nothing else can. It's not about being perfect with your routine. It's about choosing you first, choosing your voice before the noise, choosing your energy before the world starts pulling at it. And the women who learn how to do this every single day, they build something unshakable. They walk differently. They speak differently. They don't chase peace. They carry it. And it all starts with how they open their eyes in the morning and who they listen to first. Move your body like it's sacred, because it is. This isn't about a fitness trend or a weight goal. It's about creating a daily relationship with the one thing that carries you through every season of your life, your body. And when you treat it like an afterthought, it starts to shut down on you, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally too. You begin to feel sluggish, disconnected, tense, and heavy, not because of your size, but because your energy has nowhere to go. When you don't move your body, the stress stays stuck, the tension builds, the emotions collect, and they don't disappear. They just sit there waiting. And that's why movement isn't optional, it's necessary. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need to hit the gym for hours. You just need to move. Stretch your arms in the morning. Take a walk in the evening. Dance in your kitchen. Breathe deeper when you sit. Roll your shoulders back. Open your chest. Shake off the pressure. Every motion you make is a message to your nervous system that says, I'm present. I'm alive. I'm still choosing myself today. And that daily message becomes a habit. That habit becomes a rhythm, and that rhythm becomes the foundation of how you carry yourself through the day. When a woman is disconnected from her body, she starts to shrink in her presence. She loses that fire in her eyes, that lift in her spine, that power in her step, and the world feels heavier because she's carrying it all inside with nowhere for it to land. But when she moves, even a little, something changes. That movement becomes release. That release becomes clarity. That clarity becomes strength. You begin to feel like you can breathe again. You begin to notice that your body isn't the enemy. It's the messenger. It's trying to tell you what you've been holding and what you need to let go of. And that is a gift worth honoring. A lot of women wait until they're burnt out to finally pay attention to their bodies. They ignore the tight shoulders, the constant fatigue, the shallow breathing, because they think they have to earn rest. But movement isn't about punishment. It's about alignment. When you move with love instead of shame, you start to heal things you didn't even realize were broken. You start to show up differently, not just in front of others, but in front of yourself. And that version of you, the one who listens to her body every single day, she's powerful, she's calm, she's grounded. There's a reason why so many women feel emotionally heavy all the time, because we're taught to sit still, to be quiet, to suppress what we feel. And over time, that suppression shows up in our posture, our breath, our health. But when you choose to move, you're choosing to reclaim space, to take up more of it, to shake off the energy that doesn't belong, to return to your natural rhythm. And that's something no one can do for you. It has to be a daily decision, a moment where you say, I matter enough to make time for this. And you'll notice something. The more you move, the more you feel. The more you feel, the more you heal. The more you heal, the more you grow. It's all connected. You don't need a perfect routine. You don't need to impress anybody. You just need to show up for you, because movement doesn't care what you look like. It cares that you show up. It rewards consistency. It builds resilience. And the women who understand this, they move through life with more power, more grace, and more self-respect than ever before. This is the kind of daily habit that doesn't just change your body. It changes your identity. It builds trust. It builds momentum. And it reminds you every day that you are not something to be fixed or punished. You are something to be honored. Your body isn't the problem. It's the partner. And when you finally begin to treat it like that, everything begins to shift, not all at once, but slowly in ways that stay. And that's where the real power begins to grow. Master your morning voice, because that voice sets the tone for how you move through the rest of the day. The words you say to yourself when no one is watching carry more weight than the loudest criticism in the world. That inner dialogue can either empower you or exhaust you before you even step out of bed. Most women have trained themselves to listen to the harsh version of that voice, the one that picks at their flaws, questions their worth, replays old mistakes, and reminds them of everything they haven't done yet. That voice might sound familiar, but it is not truth. It's just repetition, and repetition can be rewritten. When you wake up, your thoughts are at their most raw and most honest. They haven't been shaped by what the world thinks yet. So if you start your day in judgment, you're going to look at everything through that lens. But if you start with clarity, compassion, and confidence, then you walk differently. Your tone matters. Your energy matters. Your first thoughts aren't just thoughts, they're instructions. And when you feed your mind daily with criticism, don't be surprised when your confidence can't grow. Your mind follows your voice and your life follows your mind. That's why mastering that voice has to be a daily decision. This isn't about fake positivity or avoiding real issues. This is about choosing which voice gets to lead. You can acknowledge your struggles without calling yourself a failure. You can feel behind without saying you're worthless. You can be growing and still be proud of who you are right now. It's about balance. And that balance comes from awareness. You have to be aware of the patterns, the tone, and the language that shows up in your head when you're tired, when you're anxious, when you're disappointed, because those are the moments when that voice tries to take over. And that's when you need to be the loudest with your truth. Start small. One sentence in the mirror, one deep breath, and a new phrase, something you believe or something you're learning to believe. I am allowed to take up space. I am not behind. I am doing the best I can. These aren't just mantras. They're medicine. They soften the blow. They interrupt the spiral. They bring you back to you. Because the truth is, no one speaks to you more than you do. And if you wouldn't say it to someone you love, you shouldn't be saying it to yourself either. And here's the part that takes practice. Some days you won't feel it. Some days the voice will feel forced. Some days it'll sound hollow, but do it anyway. Speak it anyway, because that's how you train your nervous system to listen differently. That's how you create safety inside your own mind. And over time, that voice becomes your anchor. It becomes the place you return to when everything else feels loud. It becomes the reminder that no matter what happens, no matter who doubts you, you are still in control of your response. A woman who knows how to speak to herself with strength and grace can't be broken by external noise. She doesn't get easily swayed by opinion or rejection or silence. She doesn't shrink when things get uncertain because she's already built a voice inside that says, I got you. And that voice doesn't come from luck or birth or talent. It comes from daily effort, from choosing not to speak to yourself like an enemy, from deciding to rewrite the old scripts and plant new ones in their place. The more you do it, the stronger it gets. The stronger it gets, the more rooted you become. And the more rooted you are, the less life can shake you. Guard your peace like it's your paycheck, because your peace is not just a luxury, it is your foundation. Every single day, you are given choices about what to allow and what to deny. And those decisions build the environment you live in emotionally. Some people wake up and immediately give the best of themselves away to things that do not deserve it. They jump into conversations that drain them. They respond to messages that bring stress. They entertain energy that does nothing but create chaos in their minds. That's not strength, that's unguarded living. A woman who doesn't protect her peace will always be in a state of reaction, always worn down by what she never needed to carry. Peace is not passive. It is not just sitting in silence or avoiding people. It's an active choice. It's a skill. It's a habit you have to build and reinforce daily. That means setting boundaries without guilt. That means saying no without explanation. That means letting go of the need to explain yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. Every yes you give should be backed by peace, not pressure. If your yes costs you your calm, it was never worth it in the first place. You don't have to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't have to reply to everything that pokes at your buttons. You are allowed to choose what gets your attention and what doesn't. And that's where the real discipline is, learning to pause, learning to sit in that moment between reaction and response and ask yourself, does this serve me or drain me? When you build that pause into your routine, you give yourself power. You give yourself a moment to recenter, and that moment can change the entire direction of your day. Most of the emotional messes we end up cleaning later come from rushing into situations with no protection around our peace. When you pause, you're not ignoring the problem. You're choosing how to face it on your terms. That's not weakness. That's wisdom. Some people will not like it when you start doing this. They're used to having full access to your energy, your time, your attention. They've been fed by your availability. And when you take that back, they might push back. They might call you cold. They might call you selfish. Let them. You're not responsible for their comfort at the cost of your own well-being. You were not put on this earth to be constantly available to others while abandoning yourself. And if someone truly values you, they will value your boundaries. If they don't, that's all the information you need. This doesn't mean you close yourself off from the world. It means you learn to check in with yourself before you check in with everyone else. It means you learn to ask yourself first, is this aligned with my peace? Is this helping me grow? Or is this taking me away from who I'm becoming? Those are the real questions, and you have to ask them daily, because peace doesn't just show up and stay. It has to be guarded, protected, reinforced, just like your home, just like your dreams, just like your heart. And once you start protecting your peace, you start seeing things differently. You don't chase validation. You don't feel pulled in every direction. You don't get caught up in small drama or gossip or petty arguments. You have clarity. You walk with intention. You start to glow differently because the energy you used to give away is now being used to build you. And the people who respect that will rise with you. The people who don't will remove themselves. Either way, you win. But you only get to that place when you make peace a daily habit, not just something you seek in chaos, but something you protect at all times. Speak with weight because your voice carries more than sound. It carries presence, clarity, and direction. A woman who speaks with weight doesn't need to shout to be heard or over-explain to be accepted. She chooses her words with care and delivers them with calm certainty. But that kind of power doesn't happen by accident. It's practiced. It's built in the small moments when you decide not to shrink, when you say what you mean instead of what you think people want to hear. Every day gives you a chance to show up in conversation with more presence, more honesty, and more authority in your own tone. You don't have to wait for a perfect setting to speak up. Every ordinary moment is a training ground. Whether it's asking for what you need, setting a boundary, correcting a wrong assumption, or simply saying no, these are all moments where your voice earns its weight. And the more you speak from a place of truth, the less you rely on approval. You stop adjusting your sentences to keep people comfortable. You stop softening your needs. You stop letting silence protect other people while suffocating yourself. Speaking with weight isn't just about volume. It's about owning your right to be heard without apology. So many women were taught to be agreeable, to avoid conflict, to nod and smile even when something didn't sit right. And that training runs deep, but silence becomes a habit. It becomes a pattern that shows up in relationships, at work, and even when you talk to yourself. The weight of what you never say builds over time, and eventually it shows up in your stress, your anxiety, your resentment. You were never meant to carry unspoken truth in your chest like a burden. You were meant to let your voice clear that space, to give your truth oxygen so it can live outside of you. And yes, it will feel uncomfortable at first. Your voice might shake, your hands might tremble, your heart might race. That doesn't mean you're weak. That means you're growing. That means you're breaking through years of being quiet for the sake of peace that never truly existed. And over time, your voice steadies, your words sharpen, your energy shifts. People start to listen when you speak, not because you're louder, but because you're rooted. You're not speaking for attention. You're speaking from alignment. And that kind of voice is unforgettable. You don't have to turn every conversation into a battle, but you do need to stop treating your words like they're optional. Say what you mean with clarity. Be direct without being cruel. Be honest without being harsh. Practice saying no without guilt. Practice expressing disappointment without fearing rejection. Practice standing up for yourself in the small things so you're ready when the big things come. That kind of communication builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Every time you speak with weight, you reinforce your own value. And the people who can't handle that version of you, the version who speaks up, sets boundaries, says no, and takes up verbal space, those people were never aligned with your growth anyway. Your job is not to water yourself down for others. Your job is to get used to hearing your own voice and respecting it. Because once you respect it, others start to as well. Speaking with weight doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being intentional. It means using your words to represent your values, your needs, and your power. This is a habit you build every single day.